Hello, boys and girls. I want to read to you about a composer. His name was Francis Johnson. Francis Johnson. He lived from 1792 to 1844. 1792 to 1844. He died when he was 52 years old, relatively young, but he really made his mark in this world during his time on Earth, his physical time on Earth, and he was also well, let me just read about him. Here we go. Francis Johnson was born on June 16th, 1792. There is some debate as whether Johnson was born in Philadelphia or Martinique. The most recent scholarship, however, suggests that Johnson was born in Philadelphia. Johnson became the first African American to publish sheet music, well over 200 published pieces. The first black musician and perhaps the first American musician, yeah, and perhaps the first American musician to tour Europe with a band, and one of the first musicians to participate in integrated public concerts. He mentored a number of successful black musicians, and scholars credit him as the leader of the Philadelphia School of Composers, arguably the first such group in the United States. His compositions remained in print late into the 19th century. That means late into the 1800s, and enjoyed some reemergence in the late 20th century. Little is known about Johnson's childhood and his early musical training and experiences. He was known as a professional musician in Philadelphia in 1812. So let's go back. He was born in 1792, and that's about at the beginning of our country when we finally passed the Constitution. Um, let's let's go here. Okay. He may have learned how to play the keyed bugle, an instrument on which Johnson became known as a virtuoso, from an Irish immigrant named Richard Willis, who went on to become the leader of the band at the West Point Military Academy. Johnson's musical talent was recognized when, in 1818, he became the first African American to have a composition published as sheet music. Johnson played a number of different instruments, often changing based on the circumstances of the concert he played. How about that? Johnson also led a well-known band in Philadelphia area at the time when very few people could sustain themselves as professional musicians. Johnson's band for a number of years composed entirely of African Americans, played solely for the black community when it began. After a few years, however, the band received gigs from prominent white socialites to perform at some of the fanciest and most impressive Philadelphia area social gatherings, Philadelphia area. Johnson's band gained some national recognition when it became associated with all white militia units and began to play concerts at the summer resort at Saratoga Springs. The same resort the Philadelphia Orchestra has spent its summers for many years. The band also the band was composed of musicians who were well known in their own right. And I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to include this article if you want to read it on. But here's a picture of when he was a younger man, very debonair, and he has his French horn. This French horn, it looks like it doesn't have any keys or valves, and that's the way the French horns were originally. And then I have some older pictures here. You can see Mr. Johnson here. Let's see if it'll show me the next one. Okay. When he was an older man, I guess right about here. If I can get that to. There he is there when he was older. He's holding a different type of horn there. Okay. So, Robert, I'm sorry, Francis Johnson. How amazing! And I didn't even know about this guy till I was driving to school, and I heard it on the radio. I heard his music on the radio. So we'll listen to some of his piano compositions. Okay, and he wrote all types of music. Um, Thank you. Goodbye.